Let me be very clear before we even get into this. And I love hip-hop. I grew up on it. I watched it save lives, shape culture, and give black voices power when nobody else would. So when I see some of the biggest names in the game turning around and throwing that power behind MAGA, Donald Trump, and organizations that openly disrespect black people, immigrants, and civil rights, yeah, I take that personal, because this doesn't feel like independent thinking. This feels like betrayal. Let's start with Nicki Minaj. Nicki recently showed up at an event connected to Turning Point USA, sitting on stage in support of the widow of right-wing political commentator Charlie Kirk. And while she was there, she explained why her views have shifted. She talked about how people lie on her, target her beliefs, and hate that she speaks what she believes is the truth. She even praised Trump and his administration, saying they're doing a great job with leadership. And I'm sitting here thinking, Nicki, do you hear yourself? This is the same political movement where leaders have publicly disrespected you.
Minaj, Cardi B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls. I don't think that songs that are talking about, like, glorifying wet female genitalia is exactly, I don't know which one wrote that song. Which one was that?
I think it was Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But by the way, the role models of the 1940s and 50s for black America were completely different.
So it is a representation issue.
Hold on a second, not representation. It's who do you get your art from? It's what values are they putting forward? For example, more times than not, black politicians will lament the condition of America. It's systemically racist. It's terrible. What does that do to a 14-year-old black kid if you just find that, if you hear that everything is rigged against you?
You really have to wonder, in fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
The same circles where people have called you a bad role model for young girls. The same ecosystem built on talking points that paint black people, especially black women, as unfit for leadership and responsible for society's problems. And now you're sitting next to them, smiling, co-signing. That's wild to me. Because hip-hop didn't make Nicki Minaj rich by accident. Black fans did. Gay fans did. Immigrants did. The same people MAGA rallies spend their weekends attacking. And yet, when a journalist like Don Lemon is simply doing his job, covering a protest at a church in Minneapolis, Nicki jumps online attacking him, using homophobic language, saying he should be locked up for covering a story. So let me get this straight. The media is lying on you, but they're criminals when they report on something you don't like. That's the play now? Nicki's platform exists because black culture embraced her, queer culture embraced her. And now she's turning around wagging her finger at the very people who made her untouchable. And here's the part that really bothers me. She's aligning herself with political movements that love to talk about morals and family values, while ignoring the fact that the man she married has a past involving inappropriate behavior with minors, and her own brother was convicted and jailed for similar accusations. But Don Lemon is the threat? See, this is why people are calling this out, because it's not about truth. It's not about values. It's about proximity to power. And Nicki isn't alone. Nelly, Ludacris, artists who came up speaking about black struggle, black pride, black resistance, now performing at MAGA-adjacent events, smiling for crowds that cheer when civil rights get rolled back. You don't get to scream culture when it benefits you and then abandon it when a political movement offers you a seat at the table. That's not growth. That's selling out. And let's be real. These movements don't respect them. They use them. They hold them up like trophies and say, see, we're not racist, we've got rappers. And the moment these artists stop being useful, they're disposable. That's why this hurts, because hip-hop was never just music. It was survival. It was resistance. It was loyalty. And now we're watching people with massive influence help deepen the divide, while pretending it's just a difference of opinion. No, when you side with people who actively work against black civil rights, immigrant protections, and LGBTQ safety, You're choosing a side, and it's not ours. So yeah, I'm saying it. Cancel them. Stop streaming. Stop buying tickets. Stop defending billionaires who wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire.
A most unusual day at the White House.
I love this guy right here.
President Trump invited the cameras into the Oval Office for his meeting with rapper and provocateur Kanye West and football great Jim Brown. West launched into an extended soliloquy about Donald Trump and his red Make America Great Again hat.
You know, they tried to scare me to not wear this hat, my own friends, but this hat, it gives me power in a way. There was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman. You made a Superman, that's my favorite superhero, and you made a Superman cape for me.
The rapper's meandering monologue touched on more than a dozen topics. The president seemed almost at a loss for words.
I'll tell you what, that was pretty impressive.
If they can turn their backs on the culture that built them, then we can turn our backs on them too. Because hip-hop doesn't need puppets, and it definitely doesn't need self-hatred dressed up as free thinking. And sometimes the truth gets deleted because it hits too close to home.